Hey, so today we're going to talk a little bit about the Lee Collet neck die. This here, I have this gutted right now because we have to learn a few things about how this thing works and a couple of little maintenance items because these are a little finicky sometimes if you don't do this. So we'll go over that. We're going to compare the run out we get from that to what we get with the RCBS neck die. I have two Winchester cases here, and they've both been fired out of the same rifle, and the necks right now have 2000s run out. And let's show you this here real quick with the RCBS Case Master. So here's one of them. You'll see we get about a 2000s swing there on that one. And about 2000s on that one. So cases are equal. Okay, so we know for sure that these both have the same neck run out as each other. I'm going to take one here and just put a blue permanent marker on it. This one here with the blue mark is going to be for the Lee Collet, and the one with no mark will be for the RCBS. So let's take a look here and see what this Collet die looks like. One thing that if you have a Lee press, I would highly recommend getting a few packages of these here. This is the quick change deal, and it locks in. They're just really well made, and they're just worth their weight in gold in my opinion. I really like them. So what you've got here on the Lee Collet die is it's got four cuts in it. What this does is just squeeze down over this mandrel here, and that's what gives you your neck tension. So how this goes together is pretty simple, really. First, you've got this collet, or this internal piece here. I'm not sure the exact name of it, but it's tapered in here. And this, with the cuts here, when this is squished together inside that die, it closes those petals up against the neck and also up against this mandrel here. And you can adjust this on the die or on the press by either screwing the entire die in and out. This whole assembly just drops down in there. Now, I had mentioned the finicky part, and here's the finicky part. As you use this thing, you can actually start to wear a ridge in the center of this. And the best thing that I found on these is I take a little bit of this Tetragun. This is really good stuff. I used the hell out of it. And you don't want a lot, but I just put just a little bit on and get a little bit on each petal there. And that will help with the stickiness sometimes that this creates inside the die when you're operating it. Drop all that in, and then you've just got your little cap here that, ta-da, pretty simple. So now there isn't much setup here on the RCBS other than just your typical die setup in the in the press. So let's get these set up, and I have not compared these two necessarily to each other, but let's get it set up in the press and see, if one comes out better than the other. So let's go that way. Still very impressed with this. There's one. Now let's get this Collet die set up. So according to Lee, when you read your directions here, Lee recommends running this down to where it stops with the ram all the way up, and then turning it an additional 1.5 turns for the classic press. So I'm not going to go 1.5. What I'm going to do is I'm just going to make myself a little mark here on the top so I know where I'm adjusting this to. I'm going to start with one full turn, one revolution there. And we can see here right now, this is a 243, take a burger bullet, and it's just going to fall inside. And so let's run this in here now. And they do recommend putting about 25 pounds of pressure on there. So give that a shove and come back here and double check it. Now, I can't push that bullet in there now. Well, a little bit I can. Now I'm going to get it stuck. Let's pause so I can fix this. Okay, I got it fixed. Really fairly tight fit, but nonetheless, I shoved it in there with my finger and I pulled it out with my finger, so I'm going to go that extra half a turn there, and like they recommended, and I'm going to give this thing another good push up into the die, and we'll see what that feels like. And there is no way I can't push that bullet in there now. So we're pretty good there. There are some measurements and stuff you can take if you want to get real technical with it, but I think that this is going to be good enough for the purpose of this. So I'm going to pop this back off of here real quick, and we're going to double check our run out, see what a run out looks like. Okay, so I got my case master mounted back up. Here's the one with no blue mark that went through the RCBS neck sizing die, and here's the one with our blue mark that went through the Lee Collet die. This is a problem I've been fighting for a while, which is why I went back to Lee. Take a look at this. We have induced massive run out from what we previously had 2000s. Now look at the run out on this thing after going through the RCBS die. And I'm not knocking RCBS. I have a lot of their products and usually they're pretty good for whatever reason. This particular one has shit the bed. But this one here in the Lee die has got essentially zero run out other than me bumping the case here while I'm trying to spin it. So we've got the two dies. Both are quality dies in my opinion, even though this one here, the RCBS neck sizing die, something has happened to this die. I'm not sure what. It's clearly not the press. It's a brand new press anyways, but the press has been very good. Over time, I've started to get a little bit more, some issues with run out, and that pretty much verified where the problem lies. So now I've taken this out, I've taken the expander, I've cleaned this whole thing. I can't find anything really wrong with it. I polished the expander ball. I've done everything I can think of to make sure that this is set up properly, run properly, lube properly, the whole 9 yards. Now, the Lee, and most people think Lee makes a pretty good product for the most part, especially their dies. They get great reviews. But I own several other neck sizing dies that are not made by Lee. I personally cannot get the minimal run out on all those other dies that I can with the Lee die, with this Collet die. The other thing too is, like for my 7mm, I run all the neck bushings and things like that, so you can adjust the neck tension on your cases, and but then you're buying bushings, and you know, if you get the titanium bushings, they're quite expensive. You can get them down, I think, to around $10 or $11 a piece, but now you got to buy all these different bushings, and depending on how thick or thin you cut your neck when you turn your necks, you know, you got to have a selection of bushings. This, I don't have to buy anything else. I just simply put it in there and set it up and start messing with the adjustments on it. I can give it less neck tension, I can give it more neck tension, I can do all kinds of cool stuff with this. I actually own a couple of these in 243, the whole family shoots 243, and so I've got a couple different ones, and so, you know, I set one up, I lock it in for what the wife shoots. I got this one here, I just purchased this one, this is a brand new one, but I purchased this for myself, for my 243, and then I also have another one for the kid. So I can just pop that out, I know which one's his, which one's mine, pop it in there, do all the stuff, and it works perfect every time. So don't overlook the Lee products. They're really good, and the versatility of this, just being able to adjust that neck tension rather than having to buy all the other stuff, you know, all the bushings and whatnot. You know, so these, again, you know, both Winchester cases, and you know, you saw it for yourself. 2000s run out on each. Brought one down to virtually zero, and the other one, I forget. I actually didn't see what it was. Way too much. You know, it shouldn't be. 2000s is almost too much, really. So, you know, you can imagine sometimes when you seat a bullet, you can actually introduce a little bit more run out too. So, you know, the Lee may actually come out with maybe 1 or 2 thousandths at the most, but if I induced run out in the one that I ran through the RCBS, it could actually make it worse. It could also make it better too. It could actually straighten it up just a little bit, but it's been my experience, it doesn't usually go that way. It goes the wrong way. So either way, if you're looking for a really good neck die, for some real tight group shooting, I would highly recommend just getting one of these. There's no sense in going out and buying Redding or RCBS or those real high dollar dies. I can't justify it. I'm cheap, I know that, but you know, I don't mind spending the money if it's on a good quality product, but if you don't need to, why would you? Other than to show it off and say, look, I own a $300 die set. That's silly. I could buy a lot of powder or more bullets for 300 bucks. You know, these Lee die sets, the whole set was 35, 40 bucks or something like that. So anyways, got a lot more coming your way. Hey, if you like what we're producing, please subscribe it to the channel, share it. We're trying really hard to build this channel up, so give it a thumbs up. Leave some comments if you got any feedback, positive or negative, doesn't matter. Let me know, and stay tuned. We have a lot more coming, folks. Appreciate it. Thanks.